G'day cunts, how good is this fucking city, eh? Yesterday, 12th of December in the year of our Dark Lord 2022, 200 odd crews showed up to defend and support Naarm's queer community. And on the other side, 5 gronks from the shameful Ageing Out Bloke Brigade, one of whom got so frustrated he threw paint at the popo and got himself arrested. Just fucking glorious. So, a few quick words from me then, following our total and complete win over the pack of gronks that make up these hateful, bigoted, and frankly fucking useless flogs that continue to linger in our fair city. This was supposed to be a pretty sedate affair, of course. It was a queer youth event for those aged 12 to 25 with stuff like performers from that same age bracket and what have you. However, groups like the NSN, the Proud Boys and various other cookers who are of course determined to make queer folk the wedge issue for their collective nonsense decided that harassing a youth event, again, was a good idea. Now this is something of concern, of course. The NSN in particular has shown a great propensity for not only harassing but assaulting children in this city and across the country. As such, a response was of course organised across various lefty groups. Turnout from us was looking good and we all went to bed on the Wednesday, prepped and ready. The next day, though, brought some challenges. I've a few nastier things to say now, so buckle up, I guess, because we got a great demonstration of what can happen when Liberals, God bless them, but they are Liberals, are running queer events. Now, I'm told that the decision to postpone the event, given the threats and given the sterling as ever advice from police, rests solely with the council, so they're the ones who chiefly deserve criticism here. But look, while those with less political nous or experience might say they understood this decision, it is at best ignorant, and at worst, frankly, pathetic and vile. For one, an easy win for fascists like what this decision could have led to would further lead to a hugely emboldened right wing. This would mean a right wing much more liable to keep making threats and, more importantly, to keep rocking up to harass young people at events that do go ahead in the future. I mean, holy shit. There should be little doubt in people's minds that the NSN, with the extra motivation of their leader being an odds-on bet to be found guilty of assault and possibly sentenced to a custodial sentence in the coming weeks, would have taken the opportunity of a cancelled queer event and a no-show from lefty activists to, say, roll up at the side of their victory to preen and strut and take one of their douchey little sig-heiling happy snaps while enjoying the presence and solidarity of the other groups of dickheads. That's just one hypothetical, I guess, but let's be clear. The chances that the fash weren't going to show up given the cancellation was slim to fuck all, as was proven later. Like, there's no way the cancellation, combined with us not being there, would have led to anything other than the right feeling galvanised and powerful. This situation could have been a propaganda gift to these pillocks. Further, though, the decision to cancel was only made about 5 hours before the event was supposed to start, and was then only some hours later announced by ACAB and Council on Facebook. Now, I'm not a youth, but I understand enough to know that if you're reaching out to your vulnerable young attendees to let them know that you're cancelling an event because of threats from fascists, Facebook posts by the police are perhaps not the most effective method of communicating this. Subsequent attempts at communication were woeful too, and were again coming far too late. Groups involved in organising the event were posting on their socials as late as an hour and a half before the event had been scheduled to start. The late decision and poor comms led to a situation in which, if lefties didn't roll up, the fash most certainly would have, and the young queer folk who didn't read the Boomer Book posts, because of course they didn't, would have been rocking up to find Nazis with a cop escort taking pics. Just woeful decision making in the immediate and long-term context, which is why I used the term ignorant before. But here's another thing. To those who made this shitty call, I'm going to be blunt. Your support of queer folks should not and cannot be contingent on it being easy for you. If you're going to bail and increase the danger to queer folk in the process when the very predictable response to a queer youth event happens, we are all a lot better off if you just don't pretend. You get to kick the can down the road because it's not you in the firing line. The queer community, though, does not. There's a similar message to be sent to those who made public statements about how they hashtag support queer folks in the community, but were inexcusably MIA. If you are supporters, well, we'll see you next time, won't we? Anyway, though, back to our victory, because despite the fuck-ups of those calling themselves in charge, despite the suppressing of efforts to ensure turnout on our side, the queer community proved once again that it is the queer community itself that is most effective and capable of its own defence. The call went out for lefties to show up anyway, and holy shit, we did. The NSN obviously sussed we were still going and then chose to stay home, something they obviously didn't share with their shameful man allies because these cunts got left holding the bag. The whole thing ended up being honestly great. The energy was electric, the chants were the correct definition of proud, and the groks melted away like ice cream under a blowtorch. The power of queer joy and solidarity was evident, and once again it was proven that fascists will always lose in Naarm. Love it. Since the event too, we've been treated to queer folks expressing their gratitude to each other and their allies of the way we all came together when it was necessary. We've also been spoiled to witness a bunch of salty Nazis huffing copium hard across Telegram and the Musk app. It's just been fucking glorious. So yeah, keep showing up, Naarm Crew. We can and will defeat these gronks at every turn while you do, and I am of course sure that you will. See yous out there. Be safe. Laters.